So how do you take your dream client from no all the way to yes, right? Where they see you for the first time online, they meet you. How do you take them step by step by step where they're like, I don't want to buy your coaching, to all the way to, yes, I definitely want to buy your coaching, where they crave what you have to offer, where they see you as the solution to their problems and they pay you. Like, is there a formula for that? And the answer to that is yes. There is a formula to that, and I'm going to teach you today. Whether you're a beginning coach and you're getting on these strategy calls or a consultation and you're like, man, like I don't even know what I'm doing. People say, not right now, maybe in the future. Like, how do you get over that? How do you sell your coaching? Or if you're an advanced person and you have some clients, but getting clients is inconsistent, right? It's like some people say yes, some people say no, and you don't know why they're saying no. Like, how do you create a predictable, certain, and secure strategy to get clients? Now, my name is Peter Feza, and I've been the trainer of coaches since 2005. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to map this whole thing out from start to finish, taking them from a no to a yes. I teach this in my seminars, my workshops, and my premium students, and now I'm going to teach you the whole enchilada for free. But when you have to understand, when I first started as a beginning coach, I was desperate and I was miserable because I didn't have any clients. I'm going out there, I got some people on a strategy call and they were kind of like, let me think about it. And I'm like, think about what? Like I thought that I was doing everything right and I couldn't figure out how to get clients and I desperately needed money. So I went to my mentor who changed everything for me. He changed my life and he asked me some few simple questions. He at the time was making 5 to 6 figures per month as a coach. So he definitely wasn't having these problems that I was having. And he said, Peter, I want to ask you a question. He says, when you get on the phone with somebody, and I'm going to draw an old-fashioned phone. He said, when you get on the phone with somebody, how many conversations have you had with them when you get on the phone? And I'm like, I've had maybe like 1 to 2 conversations. And he's like, oh, okay. He said, when I get on a strategy call with somebody, I've had anywhere between 10 to 15 conversations with them. And I'm like, huh? He said, Peter, when somebody asks me to get on a strategy call with them, I don't ever get on a call with them because at that point, they're just curious. And I'm like, huh? He said, I send them through the most vital part of this whole sales process, which is what I call an Inception Sequence. And I'm like, Inception Sequence? He says, yes. He says, when they ask to get on a call with me or if they're meeting me for the first time, what I'll do is I'll send them an email with like a video. And the email is like, the email has like this really amazing like signature at the very bottom that like is really super professional and it shows me in a professional light. I'm like, okay. And then he says, and then I'll send them a video and it's like high quality video that I have professionally edited and it gives me street cred. And then what happens after I send them the video is then they'll be directed to go to my website and then they'll go to my Instagram account. I'll direct them to my Facebook account. And then what they'll do is then I'll maybe send them to like a webinar training. And with each individual step, they're seeing me more and more as the solution, right? And with each individual step, they are trusting that I am the solution to their problem. And it's building, building, building until finally, when they get on a call with me, they're already sold. He said, I don't have to persuade anybody to do anything. You see, at that point, all I have to do is understand what their goals are and then give them a package that will give them the best solution to their problems. That's it. And I'm like, oh my God, I get it. I said, I think I'm picking up what you're laying down. He said, what do you get? I said, well, with each individual step, you don't ever just hop on the phone with somebody because they're curious at that point. They don't want to buy. So with each individual thing, you're solving more of their problem. They're seeing you as the solution. That your branding is like really the design of what you're selling them is like it's creates this image. And then finally, when they get on the phone, they're sold. And he's like, yes. And so what we did is we created my first Inception. Sounds good. Inception Sequence. And it was so simple, and I'm going to show you how to do this step by step. I want you to just get the basics. So we put together my first Inception Sequence, and within like 2 to 3 months, I doubled my sales. And I went, oh my gosh, that was it, right? And since then, I've refined and perfected the Inception Sequence because I've done it so much, I've made mistakes, and I've learned from it. And now I'm going to teach you exactly how to create your very own Inception Sequence, taking your dream customer from start, where they say no, I don't want to coach, to finish, where they say yes. You see, back in the old days, people thought they had to close somebody, that they had to persuade them. And, that just kind of seems like kind of slimy, salesy techniques, right? Where you're just trying to, I imagine like some guy in an 80s suit with slicked back hair, like, hey, selling me a car or something. And the reason why I like this is because you're really offering value and you're really helping somebody and changing their life, which to me has a lot of integrity. Dr. Robert Cialdini, he wrote the book Persuasion. He says it like this: effective persuasion reveals that the secret doesn't lie in the message itself, but in the key moment before that message is delivered. Optimal persuasion is achieved only through optimal persuasion. So this Inception Sequence is like persuasion, all the way up to there's no sales conversation, like traditional sales conversation needed at the very end, because it's already done before that critical message is ever delivered. Does that make sense? So what is the formula? So here it is. This is what I call the Inception Formula. Equals, and it's a 3-part formula. The first part is design. This is the visual quality of what you're actually sending them, okay? Here's the deal. We do judge a book by its cover. We just do. Whatever we see in front of us, we're going to create context in our mind, and we're going to make up a point of view or a judgment on that person, good or bad. Apple actually has a really cool way of describing this. Back in the early days of Apple, one of the founding members, Mike Markula, said this: it's not enough to create a revolutionary and amazing product. You have to craft and skillfully design a way to emotionally impute and instill your brand, that message with your audience. We have to impute on the minds of the people that you're trying to coach that you are a professional. What this does is it provides trust and safety that you're the one that solved the problem. It's design times value. The actual value that you give. Your coaching, like the things that you teach, which I assume that you're a very valuable person. And then finally, sequence. The step-by-step sequence to take them from start to finish. Design, the visual quality, times the value that you bring, and the sequence that we present these things in step-by-step is the Inception Formula. Now this right here, if you see, it's like, what is this weird? This is what I call the trust temperature. So at any time during this process, we can gauge the trust temperature. Now when the trust temperature is low, this is where most coaches go wrong, and they create their offer here. And that's why you get no's. Whereas more seasoned coaches, salespeople, is they make their offer only when the trust temperature is up here. So now the question is, how do we get the trust temperature from here, where they just met you, right, all the way to the very top? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I do it and take you step by step, and how my beginning coaches do it, how they fill up with their schedule with paid coaching clients. And then what I'm going to do after that is show you how, as an advanced coach, how to take it to the next level where you scale and grow your business. Okay, so here are the specific, what I call Inception elements that you can add to your sequence. And by the way, it's not limited to these specific things, but what I would recommend is that you just have a core few Inception elements that you use, and it's just as powerful as a million, okay? So the very first Inception element that will increase this trust on the trust temperature is a conversation. Very first thing. It's the easiest thing that you can do. Okay, and this is what I mean by conversation. Every single time you talk to somebody online, whether it's in an email, you're typing it, or you're talking to them, or you're giving them your voice in whatever way you're communicating, is that you show up in a professional way, which means on time, which means with courtesy, which means with enthusiasm, right? Because all a sale is the transfer of emotion. That's the easiest part, okay? And the second part are the actual tangible design physical elements. So the first thing when I talk to somebody is like I have a conversation. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. I'm not trying to sell them. And I say, hey, like what kind of things are you working on right now? What are your problems? What are the challenges that you're having? And I'm like, okay, got that, right? And then what I'll say, maybe that conversation or the next, I'll say, hey, I have this video that will definitely be able to help you and solve their problem. That's it. And of course they're being like, yeah, they had a conversation with me. So I send them in an email a video. Okay, so in that email, I include a video, but check this out. The very first part of the email is like, hey, watch this video, hope it helps, is my email signature. Now my mentor, he was like harping on me for so long with this email signature and I didn't understand it, but it is so vital, right? It shows my brand, it's well put together, and this email signature shows that I'm professional, right? It's the first time that we impute, right? So this is like an email that we impute on them a level of trust. Of course, it's not going to create a sale. And it's like 15 bucks on Fiverr.com. It's so cheap. And then what I do is I send them a video. Now check this out. It is a video solving one part of their problem that they're trying to find a solution to. And what I do is I have an arsenal of videos that I have that are professionally edited and that solves their problem. Now you might be thinking, oh my God, like I don't have any of these designs or any professional edited video. Perfect. When people, my clients come to me, when they enter my 90-day Clients Right Now challenge, they don't have any of these elements created yet. So what I recommend for you and what I recommend for them is to have 3 videos, just 3 videos, that solves the critical pain, the critical problem that your dream client is experiencing. You know, if you're a relationship coach, it could be 3 steps to give you a happy marriage for the rest of your life, right? Or it could be like if you're a life coach, it could be like 3 ways to go from anxiety, depression to confidence and happiness. A business coach could be like how to get like leads, something that's solving a problem. And then what I recommend is that you spend 15 bucks and you go to Fiverr.com or any other site, right? And you get a video editor that edits your video for like 15 bucks. And you get 3 of these things in your arsenal. So my coaches, when they come and they work with me in the Clients Right Now, it takes them about a week to get this done, right? It's so easy, but it's so powerful. So I'll send them one of my videos that solves their critical pain. So they get a video, increases their trust temperature, right? But check this out. This is my blog, right? On the video, it has my website and all these other things. Now, if I'm solving their problem, they're gonna get curious. This happens all the time, and so they'll go to my website. They'll check out my website. Inception element number 4 is website. Have a professional website. Now, what I recommend to my coaches, you might be like, I don't have a website that's professional. Not a problem. I'm gonna share with you. It's like go to Wix.com. And you can have like a website for like 15 bucks a month, $10 to $15. Now, if you look at my website, I don't try to sell anything on my website. I don't build my website for people randomly finding me on the internet. I build my website for those warm videos who've already been introduced to me. And I use it as a way to impute on them exactly what I want them to get, so the trust factor increases. They see my website, they're like, wow, this actually looks kind of professional. They go down, they see the publications that I've been on, Business Insider, Associated Press. I'm gonna get into that more in the advanced section, right? They go and they see my testimonials, right? The trust factor goes up just a little bit more. They're not ready to buy yet, but the trust factor goes up. They go down and they see, wow, look at me. I've been in seminars. I have like these workshops that I do, right? The trust factor and the ability factor goes up a little bit from my seminar. They go down and they see all these other things, right? They see more testimonials, right? It's not enough. They're not going to be ready to buy from me quite yet. Now you might be thinking, well, I don't have a professional looking website like Peter does. This is from a template, right? From a template. It's not like I built this. It's like pre-designed. See this? This is like a video part of their template. I just took out their video and I put in mine. I took out their words and I put in my words, right? I took out their picture of their random person and I put in my picture of me. And it was so easy. This isn't like custom built. This is from a template. I just want to impute on you how easy it can be to build these assets. And that's exactly what I have my coaching clients do when they work with me. They work from templates. 10 to 15 bucks a month for your website, right? Another element that I add to my Inception Elements is a PDF, okay? So check this out. This is a PDF of a ultimate LinkedIn profile blueprint helping my clients, coaches on LinkedIn get clients. And this little e-cover costs 10 bucks. And when people get this PDF, I'm like, oh, hey, you need this problem solved? They get a PDF. It increases the trust factor just a little bit more. Another thing that I do is at the end of this sequence, I might send them to my webinar training. Now on this training, I solve more of their problems. It's like 40 minutes. So they get to spend time with me. They get to see my face. They get to hear my voice. This increases the trust factor. By this stage, the trust factor goes all the way to the top. The trust temperature is all the way maxed out, right? And now I make them an offer to get on a strategy call with me. By this point, they link me as the solution to their problem. I took them from a conversation to an email, to a video, to a website, to a PDF, to a webinar, and then finally, I'm ready to give them an offer. And they're already sold. I persuaded them. There's no persuasion needed. Step by step in a very specific sequence. Now you might be saying, Peter, but I don't have any of these elements. I'm just starting. Perfect. I'm going to give you 3 things that you need to focus on. Okay? The 3 things are, number 1, your 3 videos. Make it 3 to 5 minutes each. Film them on your iPhone. Send it off to an editor on Fiverr.com for 15 bucks each. The next one is your website. Having a very simple website is all you need. You could even have 1 page. Go to something like Wix.com. I like them because they're really easy. You plug and press, you get pictures of you, slap it in there, you have your titles in there. Just give something that looks really professional. And then finally, an email signature. As simple as it sounds, it is a massive imputing mechanism on the brains of your dream clients. And I had a gal who just been working with me for 30 days. With just these 3 elements, she got 3 clients. And we're going to slowly build out the rest because she wants to scale, she wants to get bigger, but that's all you need. So you might be thinking, okay, I got this, right? I got this. This makes a lot of sense. But I see a lot of people online and they have these automated like Facebook ads and all these things. And I see all these like videos from these high-end coaches giving me advice. Like, how do I do that? Perfect. So now I'm going to show you the more advanced way to create these conversations online that gives you the ability to scale and grow your business with marketing automation. Okay? If you're a beginner and you're like, that doesn't apply to me, watch this because you need to have the roadmap to where you eventually want to go. Okay, now I'm going to show you what I do now in order to fill up my schedule with paid coaching clients and to sell my courses. Now I haven't said this yet, but this is a funnel. You've heard this many times before. Now remember the trust temperature? We still want to build the trust temperature, but now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip it upside down. So all a funnel is an inception sequence that's automated. Okay, so now this is the trust temperature flipped upside down. Okay, and it's the same concept. So what I'll do is to have a conversation, because all this is 10 to 15 conversations, right? Is I'll make a video. And my marketing team will put that online. They'll put it on Facebook and Instagram. And for the people who watch this video where I'm demonstrating value, I'm showing myself, I'm professional, I'm solving their problem. For the people who watch the video, we put a little tracking device on it. We attach it to them. So wherever they go on the internet, we'll follow them. It's kind of weird. But hey, that's what we do nowadays. This is a modern business. It's kind of like a bird. You see biologists, they put like a little tracking device on the ankle of the bird, and the bird flies around and they can always know where that bird's at. This is exactly what we do here. We're attaching a pixel to them, okay? And so they watch the video, and for the people that watch that video, I don't try to sell them something right off the bat like all those other beginner coaches do. Maybe a week later, we'll send them another video where I give them more value, where they get to see more of me, right? That level of trust from the first video, they're not ready to buy yet. We send them the second video, so this is video 1. We send them that second video, right? So they enter the funnel up here. The trust factor goes up a little bit, right? But they're not ready to like buy. So then I'll send them a third video, solving more of their problem, right? So the trust factor goes up a little bit. I'm solving more of their problem with like video number 3. And at this point, what we do is we start directing them to my webinar training. Now we do this from the start, but it's usually around when I start sending my third video that they have gotten to know me a little bit more. You see, even when I sent them my first video, they still don't try. Our time is the most valuable thing we have. Unless we really trust somebody, we're not going to invest 45 minutes of our time. But you see, by the third or fourth or fifth video, they trust me enough. Now they're like, okay, I'll go check out his webinar or his PDF or his whatever. And when they get on this webinar with me, the trust factor goes way, 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 way up. Okay, way, 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 way up. And this is where I'll make my offer. This is where we make our offer. And when they come out the bottom, they buy my coaching. Okay, it's really that simple. Now, here's a word of caution. Do not try to learn Facebook advertising by yourself. Okay, you see a lot of coaches out there, they're trying to sell, hey, I'm going to teach you how to Facebook ad market, and you have to learn all these things. I did that for my first 3 years, and here's why I think that's a bad idea, is that, and I think people are taking people's money out there, and it's just so frustrating. And the reason why is because, number one, Facebook and Instagram and advertising, all that changes all the time. You cannot keep up with it. You want to stay in your wheelhouse. You want to be able to do what you do best, which is changing lives and making these videos and helping the world. Leave the marketing to the marketing people. When people come into my program, the Clients Right Now program, I have them start at step number 1, building this entire thing out for where they're at, filling up their schedule with paid coaching clients in the beginning. As soon as they get coaching clients and they're getting money coming in, then what we do is go to stage number 3 or 2 and stage number 3. Then we get a marketing team to help them, right? But you have to start in stage number 1, then you go to stage number 2, and then finally stage number 3, getting your first 1 to 10 clients, then your 10 to 100 clients, and then your 100 to 1,000 selling your courses and stuff. And each individual step. Don't try to do this by yourself. I think it's a big mistake. Now, this is a lot of information. Don't let it overwhelm you. This is just the map, okay? But here's what I recommend, is that you don't try to do this by yourself, because we don't need any more information. We need direction. Here's the difference. We need somebody to tell us, do this, don't do that, do this, okay, do more of that. And we also need pressure. And we need accountability. And so if this fits for you, I would recommend full-heartedly that we connect on the phone and that you learn about my 90-day Clients Right Now challenge, where we set out to get you your first client, or we give you 2 to 3 times the amount of clients that you currently have right now in a really amazing, fun, inspired, highly motivated 90 days, where we design and build your whole Inception sequence from start to finish. Your website, if you don't have a website, the videos that you need, all the assets put together in a very specific way, and then for 90 days we get you clients. If that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, go ahead and click on the button below that says schedule your free business breakthrough call with me, and I would love to get on the phone with you. If you don't work with me, or if you do work with me, it's totally fine. We'll build out a map for you, and I'll teach you my signature push button method and to help you get more clients. Whether you work with me or not, I had a gal the other day who said, Peter, she didn't work with me, and she said, Peter, I have 1 client and 3 more along the way from our 1 phone call. And I'm like, great. Either way, thank you so much for spending time with me today. Just remember, somebody's life out there is depending on you learning these skills. So don't delay and take action now. Spread your message and change the world. I'll see you next time.